If you like Candyman, you're probably gonna dig this one. Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to day 27 here on the 31 Days of Horror. I am your host Moon616 and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yeah, day 27 is here and we have made it into the 1980s. Now this film right here is from 1988 and it was one I was after when I was doing my 52 Horrific Weeks 1988 series. I had it on a list to get and I just never got around to grabbing it because at the time the prices on this import DVD were a little higher, so I just kind of opted out of it and then completely forgot about the film. I was on the internet the other day, or a few weeks back, and I came across it again and I was like, oh yeah, I need to grab this film. I'm so glad I did. Of course, from 1988, directed by Bernard Rose, who is very known for directing Candyman film. Not really known for directing a lot of horror films. This is like one of two that he's done, and it is called Paperhouse. This one right here is a PG-13 film. I will state that right off the bat. It is more of a fantasy type horror film. It has minor horror elements to it, but it can definitely fall into that category. Basically, the plot of this film is it follows a little girl by the name of Anna. She is roughly 10 years old, something like that. She's having a little bit of problems in her personal life. Her father's not there, she's kind of pretending to be sick at school and stuff like that. And ultimately one day she actually ends up getting sick. She ends up fainting and, kind of falling into this weird kind of sickness that she's, kind of comes into. And ultimately she draws this picture of this house where she's sick. She goes to sleep one night and she starts having these very kind of vivid dreams of this house that she drew in this picture. And so in her dream she goes in there and she meets a little boy by the name of Mark, and she starts talking to him, and Mark tells her that this is real, this is the real world and stuff like that. And she's like, okay. Anyway, so she wakes up and then she learns very quickly that she can manipulate her dreams by adding to this picture. So she starts drawing more and more things into this picture, and when she goes to sleep, she starts interacting with Mark, and things are good and stuff like that. But ultimately, she kind of manipulates her dreams way too much, and the dreams turn to kind of nightmares. They turn into dark days, and things are kind of getting altered a little bit too much. And things are all of a sudden starting to happen outside of the dreams that are happening inside of her, in the real world that are happening in her dreams. And so now she's got to figure out a way to possibly save Mark, save herself, and figure out what exactly is kind of going on and stuff inside these dreams and in the real world and things like that. So that is the premise of your film right there. Now, my thoughts on this one. Now, the premise of the film is actually very simple. It's just about a girl that's manipulated her dreams by drawing on this picture. That's really the short and long of it. Now, this movie is executed absolutely beautifully. It is so beautifully executed. I have to say, I was just blown away by this film. I didn't really know what to expect from it because I was kind of reading into it and people are saying it's not horror. It's more of a fantasy type film. I agree with that. This one is executed perfect. The tone in the beginning of the film is really elegant. It's got this really kind of light approach to it with Anna and her drawings and her sickness and things that are going on in the film. And then it kind of has a little bit of, not twist in the middle, but it kind of starts to grab, get that brunt of the film. And then it dips into the third act, which is just, it creates like this whole alternate dark reality and tone to the film. And it's staggered perfectly in this film. The pace in the film is absolutely fantastic. I think Bernard Rose did an excellent job with this one, creating that awesome tone and atmosphere to the film. It really does work on all accounts. To the acting in the film, I think that the acting in the film was actually really good. I think the little girl that played Anna did a great job. There was a couple moments in the film I felt like her acting dipped a little bit. There's a scene in her room where she kind of loses it. She's looking for this picture, and I think the acting just kind of dipped a little bit in there. It doesn't really take a lot away from the film, but overall, really good job in the film. Yeah, I think everyone did a great job. There's not really a lot of characters in this film. There's like the doctor that comes to see Anna inside her house, her, the little boy, and her parents, and that's really about it for the whole film. So very minor characters and stuff like that. But this one right here, it's just a beautiful film. It has a great tone to the film. It's got really great storytelling, and I have to say, man, there's so much symbolism and ambiguity that's going in the film, ambiguous themes that are going on in the film. Wow, can't talk. Ambiguous themes that are going on that are open for interpretation, but at the same time you can interpret them, and it doesn't have to be, left open at the end of the day. Very interesting film, though. I mean, I have to say that I was just actually blown away, and I'm very glad that there's still films out there that I've never seen that are actually as good as this film. I think one of the best things about this film, though, is not only the locations that they use in the film are just fantastic, but it's the way it's shot. The opening scenes, like the first dream sequences, are so well shot. They're in the light, and they're just very kind of elegantly shot, very like far away crane shots and stuff, very beautiful. And then when she manipulates her dreams too much, it goes dark, and it's just awesome. It sets the tone for a really great third act of the film, and it's just shot brilliantly. There's some really amazing, creepy shots in this film. I won't give anything away, but it's just done very, very well. I really like the parallels that this film has to Candyman. This film came out 4 years earlier than Candyman, but he definitely still had those ideas in his mind when he was doing Candyman, when he shot this film, because there's a scene in this film, I won't give it away, but it involves counting, and there's like a mirror, and there's just these kind of subtle parallels between these two films, and ultimately they're very similar in theme, for these type of films. But they're completely different. That's what I like about this film compared to Candyman. It's just be a really great type paper to write, companion piece to Paperhouse and Candyman. But definitely those elements are there. So if you're a big fan of Candyman, you should like this one. Don't let the PG-13 rating scare you away. It's very, very well done. The music is great in this film too. It has that kind of elegant kind of approach to it, and it works very, very well. And like I said, the third act is very dark in this one, and it just works so well. It's not like they kind of forced it. It's not like Bernard forced the third act to be overly dark or overly dramatic, which there is a lot of drama in this film too. And what happens in the third act too is really interesting. And like I said, again, ambiguous, maybe kind of a little bit, but executed awesomely. Loved every second of Paperhouse. I don't really want to say anything else about the film. I don't want to give anything else away, but really underrated film. I've heard really no one ever talk about this one, which is kind of a shame. I don't know why. It's just so underrated. Especially since this guy directed Candyman. You think this one would get brought up a little more, considering how much of a following Candyman really does have. But Paperhouse, really fantastic stuff. 9.5 out of 10. Like I said, I think the acting by the little girl dips a couple times in this film, and that's really about it. There's really nothing else wrong with this one. I don't know, 9.5 out of 10. Great film. And again, I'm just so excited that I finally saw this film, and that there's still films out there that I've never seen that are this good. Just kind of keeps my hopes alive. I have to say, keeps my hopes alive that there's more films out there that are 9.5s or 10s to myself anyways. But check out Paperhouse. It does not have a Region 1 release. This is an import from the UK. It was super cheap. I only paid a couple quid for this, so it was really, really worth the money. And yeah, definitely give this one a shot. Loved every second of it. Beautiful scenery and cinematography in this film. I just can't get over how awesome it was. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it here for day 27 here on the 31 Days of Horror. See you guys tomorrow with another review. Peace out, homies.